Marcus moved in on a Wednesday. A quiet street, old brickwork, cheap rent, perfect for a sound engineer who just wanted to be left alone. The apartment had a strange layout, long hallway, uneven flooring, and one door that wouldn't open, painted shut. By Saturday night, curiosity got the better of him. He scored the edges, forced it with a screwdriver, and the old door groaned open. Inside, nothing but dust and gray walls. No windows, no vents, just a single light bulb overhead. He stepped inside, and everything went silent. Not quiet. Silent. His footsteps didn't echo. His breathing didn't register. Even the crack of his knuckles was swallowed instantly, like the room refused to acknowledge sound. He backed out, heart pounding. The second he crossed the threshold, everything returned, like someone had unmuted the world. He told himself it was insulation, acoustics, some weird trick of the architecture. But that night, he dreamed of standing in that room again, and something else standing with him, in the corner, watching, unmoving, and absolutely silent. Marcus couldn't stop thinking about the room. He brought his gear in the next night. Full sound setup, condenser mic, recorders, headphones. He tested a clap, spoke, snapped. Nothing. When he played the recording back, there was no waveform, no signal, just black silence. But 37 minutes into the file, he heard it. A single faint sound, a heartbeat. Not his, too slow, too deep, not natural. He played it again, louder. At the end there was something else, a footstep inside the room. He turned to look, nothing there. But the dust on the floor had changed, a trail, one footprint, leading toward him. He stood still, listening. In the silence, something shifted in the corner of the room. Not a sound, just a change in the air. When he blinked, the shadow had moved, and when he spoke, the room listened, but it didn't answer. Not yet. Marcus set a plan. He wired the room with a constant, low-frequency tone. Nothing fancy, just enough white noise to fill the silence. If something moved when there was no sound, then constant sound should keep it still. He pressed play. The hum filled the air, barely noticeable, but present. And for hours nothing happened. No movement, no breath on his neck, no heavy weight in the air. The room was still, too still. At 2:06 a.m., the tone cut out. The speaker didn't die, it was turned off. He checked the recording, rewound it. The file showed everything. At 2:06, the waveform vanished, but the camera kept rolling. There he was, back to the wall, staring at the mic. Behind him, something shifted. A tall figure, long arms, thin, broken angles. It stepped closer with each second of silence, but only when there was no sound, no hum, no breath, just void. When Marcus turned, the shape froze, like it had been caught, like it didn't know how to move with witnesses. He stared. It stared back. Then he blinked, and it was gone, but not before the silence whispered something back. Getting louder won't save you. Marcus didn't speak for 2 days, not by choice. He just couldn't. Every word came out silent, mouth moved, air pushed. But no sound, even outside the room, in the hallway, on the street. His voice was gone. He checked his mic. No signal. Checked his phone. His voice memos recorded nothing. He screamed until his throat burned. Still silence. The thing in the room hadn't followed him. It was inside him. He played back an old recording of himself, just to feel normal again. But the voice on the tape wasn't his. It laughed, then whispered, "Now we're the same." He looked in the mirror. His mouth was moving. But he wasn't speaking. Something else was using him. He covered the mirrors, tried to sleep. But when he closed his eyes, he saw himself, standing in the quiet room, face blank, eyes black. His double looked at him, opened its mouth, and mouthed, "Let me out." Marcus wasn't sure who he was anymore. Every reflection, every recording, just empty movement, a body without voice. He needed to end it. So he went back to the room. He sealed the door behind him, lined the walls with speakers, plugged in every device he owned, laptops, phones, radios. He created a wall of noise, layers of static, music, feedback, and his old recordings. He flooded the room with sound. At first, nothing happened, but then the lights dimmed, the walls began to pulse, and between the sounds, he heard it again. That heartbeat, not one, two. One was his, the other wasn't. And then every sound cut out, not faded, not skipped, just gone, as if the room had swallowed it whole. The walls cracked, the lights exploded, and from the far corner something stepped forward. Not fast, not clumsy, like it had always lived there, and he had just woken it up. Marcus ran, but he didn't make it far. The door he'd come through was gone. In its place, more walls, endless gray walls. He wasn't in the room anymore. He was inside it, like it had grown around him, or swallowed him completely. No windows, no doors, just a slow hum rising from below. He screamed, no sound, hit the wall, no echo. And in the distance a figure stood, still, watching. Then slowly, it raised its hand and pointed. Behind him, he turned, and there he was. Himself, but wrong, smiling too wide, eyes too still. And it whispered without speaking, "You broke the silence, now you can never leave it." Time didn't exist in the room anymore. Marcus wandered, or thought he did. He couldn't feel his legs, couldn't hear his own breath, couldn't hear anything. But then, a flicker, far away, a light, faint, warm, a different color than the rest, a doorway. He ran. The closer he got, the more real it felt. Sound crept in, a distant hum, the beat of his heart, the echo of his feet. He touched the doorknob, and just before he opened it, he looked down and saw the same burnt-in words scratched into the floor. "If you hear nothing, run." But now, he could hear everything, and something behind him had gone quiet. Marcus opened the door. The sound rushed in all at once, like a wave crashing into a sealed room. Birdsong, wind, traffic. The world was loud again. He was out. He dropped to his knees, laughing, crying. But something felt wrong. Too loud, too sharp, like everything was screaming to be heard. He stumbled down the hallway, out of the building, and into the street. People passed him, staring. Not at him. Behind him. He turned. Nothing there. Just the air, shimmering. He made it home, locked the doors, tried to rest, but the silence never truly left, because now he could hear everything, every creak in the walls, every voice in the static, every breath that didn't belong. And every night at 3:17 a.m., the sound in his apartment would cut out for exactly 33 seconds. No noise, no heartbeat, no world. And in those 33 seconds, a figure would stand in the corner of his room, closer each time, still, silent and smiling.